So someone said to Baba, you are always changing your plans. And this is this is Baba's reply. I never make plans. I never change plans. It is all one never-ending plan to make you realize there is no plan.
You will say that again, yes?
Yeah. Someone said to Baba, you're always changing your plans. And this is Baba's reply. I never make plans. I never change plans. It is all one never-ending plan to make you realize there is no plan. I don't know how that goes through your consciousness, but Here, this is a wonderful one from Baba. It's from Listen Humanity. A new line in the divine picture is sketched only when some individual takes life forcefully in his hands, breaks up the old patterns, and insists on creating something new by his own inner vision. Did you guys catch that? Was that?
Can we have that again, please, Jeff?
Okay. A new line in the divine picture is sketched only when some individual takes life forcefully in his hands, breaks up the old patterns, and insists on creating something new by his own inner vision. This is from Prophet Muhammad. You will not enter paradise until you have faith, and you will not have faith until you love one another. Let me guide you to something, the doing of which you will love one another. Give a greeting to everyone among you. And this is an unusual quote that Baba gave in when he was in Australia. I mean, you may have to kind of ponder. You may not get it the first time around, and you may not get it the 10th time around. Baba says, he who is intellectually convinced and also has heart can see God and can make others see God, whereas he who has only heart realizes God for himself alone and does not help others. That one you might have to hear. I've never quite gotten. This is the last one. This is by one of the great Sufi masters.
Oh, Jeff, could you reread that quote?
Okay. That last one?
Last one, yes.
Yeah. He who is intellectually convinced and also has heart can see God and can make others see God, whereas he who has only heart realizes God for himself alone and does not help others.
So Jeff,
Yeah.
would an example of that be Erich?
Yeah, you know who Baba's the first person in that, he was intellectually convinced and also has heart. Baba was referring to Francis Brabazon.
Oh.
In that, I mean, it was the scene.
Oh, I see.
So someone who kind of can convey this to others, besides just experiencing, that kind of is able to kind of convey it to others. I mean, that's, I never quite got that entirely, but it's good to throw it out there and let it jumble your mind. So this is Ibn Arabi. He was one of the greatest of the Sufi perfect masters. At the level of the world, there is yours and mine. At the beginning of the spiritual path, mine is yours and yours is mine. On the path itself, there is no mine and there is no yours. At the end of the path, there is no me and no you. Sorry. Sorry, we lost out. So, Jacima, would you put that
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Tricia, you feel like reading what he put? Are you a person that doesn't mind reading?
You mean me?
Yeah,
No, I can read.
yeah. He's gonna post it here. This is a
Okay.
quote from Baba. That's thought-provoking.
Jeff, we do go to school in Australia. We learn to read, love.
Yeah, you guys are pretty good. I mean, the accent is a little bit off, but the reading's good. Yeah.
While he's looking, I can tell you a quick story about
Yeah.
what Money said to me about my accent.
Yeah. Good.
My first trip to India, she said to me, "How are you getting on with these Americans?" And I said, "All right, except they can't understand what I'm saying." And she immediately said, "I beg your pardon?"
Oh, she's so quick. Oh, wow, that's so good. So good. Anyway, before we do this, I'll just say a little bit about this discourse. In this discourse, Baba says we can't blame anyone for our unhappiness. Well, most of us have blamed others or ourselves for our unhappiness, and I know I've been guilty of that many times in my life. But who is really to be held accountable? So Baba says, whatever you want to be, that you become. That is, who we've become is due to us. The fault lies with us. But really speaking, though, the blame comes into being because we think that something wrong has happened, that there are somehow some bugs in the system. But Baba, in his compassion, goes to that extent that he invites us to blame him because everything comes out of him.
But
So
after he asks us to blame him, he then said, "No one is to blame."
yeah, he has said that too. That's why he's kind of contradicts himself. So, but he invites us to blame him, I think, because it means we are thinking of him, which is always in our best interests. But we think there are bugs in the system. But Baba says it is really a very compassionate system. Everything is tempered by his compassion. And let me, oh,
That's it. Yes, okay. Jai Baba. Dear folks of Baba, here is another quote from Baba that is thought-provoking and is sure to move us to explore our own inner experience of him. It is a challenge to our everyday weakness of blaming ourselves and others. It is an excerpt from Baba's discourse on the questioning mind in the book, The Everything and the Nothing. One of you has said, "I am doing my duty honestly, yet I am not happy." Who is to be blamed for this? Does God take advantage of my weaknesses? I am happy for your frankness, but you have yet to come to the honesty which will show you that you cannot blame anyone for your condition. Whatever you want to be, that you become. However, if you want to blame anyone, blame me. For everything in the universe has come out of me, and so I am the only one that can be blamed. But you have no idea of my love and compassion that sustains your very being. In love is infinite compassion. And whatever happens is already tempered by compassion. You cannot understand this until you go beyond the reach of the mind. If at all I did take advantage of your weakness, it would only be for your advantage. Weakness is but a degree of strength. As infinite life, I experience myself as everyone and everything. I enjoy and suffer through you to make you aware that you are infinite.
At work. So, I'm curious. Do you does how you can take that down now, Jacima? So
You don't want to go through any of the questions just to read them out?
yeah, let me see if I can
Some
find
very
them.
good questions.
Okay, I'll see if I can find them. But first, before we do that, any comments about that, or how it relates to your own experience? I mean, that's a kind of ultimate accountability. Whatever you want to be, that you become.
I don't think I blame others. I blame the pandemic for ruining my life.
Yeah, I know it has changed things, but there are other people that say it really has been helpful in.
I hate those people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're on another Zoom session.
Yeah, they can go to some other island and just keep away from me.
But so what? Oh, good. We'll start with VJ. What is this? Go ahead.
Jai Baba, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff G, I totally accept that whatever I do or whatever I am getting back, it's my own karma, reflection of my own karma. And I am very happy. I don't want to blame anyone, any situation. And Baba is so kind that he says he's only to be blamed, but why? Because he created this world, this creation is came out of it, and so that is only his fault. But that illusion has to be also experienced. So even scientifically also, the Newton's third law, every action equal reaction. So each karma, what we have done, we are responsible, and that is the reflection, those many lives and those and we have to see in that totality, and we find that we are only the person responsible. So just accept it and be happy that why when we blame, it's not good to blame anyone else. Yeah, so I feel that way. I'm comfortable.
Good. Your father has trained you well.
No, inwardly also I feel that I am the culprit. Inside me, my karma. It's my own karma.
Yeah.
You know that poet has said, जब तबीयत किसी पे आती है, मौत के दिन करीब होते हैं, आप जिनके करीब होते हैं. He says, the moment you start liking someone, or the moment your heart comes on someone, you should think that your last days are closer, your death is inching towards you. So even if you're liking someone or someone, you have to pay the reflection of that karma. So yeah.
I mean, you're saying that you should treat every moment as your last moment and value it to the full?
No, not like that. I'm
Okay.
talking in regard of attachments.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, worldly attachments.
I don't
Yeah,
understand that, Vijay. I don't understand what you
Yeah,
just said.
yeah. Well, this is reference to this ghazal,
Yes.
this poetry. आप जिनके करीब होते हैं जब तबीयत किसी पे आती है मौत के दिन करीब होते हैं. The poet says कि when your heart comes on, it reference to it is a girl and boy, that human love, so and attachment. And he says the moment you start, your heart falls on someone, then you should think that you are inching towards your last. Yeah, it's a poetic
Yeah.
aspect.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I
Yeah.
got it now.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank
Right.
you.
So let's, Jay Seema, is he there? Well, let's go.
Yeah,
I
Jeff.
think Paula's the next one.
You want me to share, Jeff?
No, I was just, who's next? I think Paula. Go ahead, Paula.
I came across this quote from Baba. I don't know. It's really, really old and I need to recopy it. But this is from him. Many bitter experiences of the past often open new vistas that help one to understand things better, as they really are, not as they appear. Your hard trials in life have been instrumental in making you what you are now, a changed being with a different outlook on life, and ushering you into the spiritual reality where you alone will find peace, bliss, and love.
Read that again. That's a beautiful quote. Read that again. Wow.
Many bitter experiences of the past often open new vistas that help one to understand things better, as they really are, not as they appear. Your hard trials in life have been instrumental in making you what you are now, a changed being with a different outlook on life, and ushering you into the spiritual reality where you alone will find peace, bliss, and love.
Great quote. Very good.
Where's that from, Paula?
You know, I don't know if I can show you this card, but it's something that I wrote down a long time ago, and I don't know where it's from, but I do know it's from Baba.
Yeah.
You know, kind of.
Came across in a stagecoach from.
Yeah, I've had it. I think I've had it that long.
Okay, Michael.
Hi there. Jay Bob, everyone.
Yeah.
You know that I've been studying this whole thing about how the mind works for a long time. And it turns out that blame is at the very lower end of human consciousness. In fact, it's one of the lowest levels. It's next to self-pity, total failure, all these dark places that people don't want to deal with. And it's absolutely untrustworthy place to be because it's a total lie. And yet we try to sell somebody on it. For instance, I call it the billiard ball effect. I didn't mean to bang into you. Somebody banged into me, so it wasn't my fault. And so who do you blame? You blame the billiard ball that hit you, that knocked you into the other person. You were just the innocent bystander. And so at that level, there's no trust. There's no grasp of reality. All there is a pretense, and you're just trying to sell people on an image that you're projecting. And it's the very lowest level to be at, because as you move from the lowest to the highest, when you get to the highest, which is the I am state, what you find out is that you are responsible for everything. If someone was to say to you, who's responsible for the children starving in Somalia, you would raise your hand and say, I am. Because as John Donne said, I am a part of humanity. And all that happens is a part of me. So therefore, never ask to know for whom the bells toll. They toll for thee. So when people act and behave all the way down, it's called the sixth band of disloyalty, which is characterized by pretense. And the only purpose of which is to prove that life is an empty, futile exercise. And you move up and up, you move into detriment through anger. And of course, anger blames somebody for making them angry. If you hadn't left the window unlocked, I wouldn't have robbed you. And there's all these excuses that go on. And humanity has evolved in this endless cycle between disloyalty, the defeated, and anger, the conquerors. And then the conquerors finally become defeated. And then the weaker ones, the ones in disloyalty, take over. And it's just this endless cycle. And the only way out of that is to have some doubt that maybe I'm wrong. And that is just a terrible, unthinkable thing to people who are an adversary, because they know they're right. So, and there is no love until one chooses. And if you're angry, and if you're pretending to be something, you can't choose, because you have all this baggage with you, and it's all a lie. So I learned this methodology, how to get through it, going through emotions like a tone scale, like a painter going from black to white. And well, here I am ready to share it to the world. And I believe that I'm part of that first class of individuals you spoke to, ones with an intellectual conviction and one who has the heart. Because my poetry reveals the heart. And this is the intellectual part of it, which once you assimilate it, you use it for self-awareness as an image of yourself. And you use this chart to locate where you are. And if you're honest, just say, well, I'm an adversary. I'm pissed off. I want to fight. And then you have to look at your positions. And the moment you look at your positions and your costs, what you realize is the first pangs of love. Love is spontaneous. And when you go through the costs, like men should take out the garbage, well, that way I can make them wrong if they don't do it. But what does it cost you? It costs my relationship with men. And if you go through enough of those positions in a relation, and the cost is always in relationship, you feel like you're looking at you're in a graveyard, and spontaneously you begin to weep. And this uncontrollable weeping is the melting of the chains around your heart. And this leads you to uncertainty. Because on one hand, you have the fear that things will go back to zero or terrible. And the other part is the heart saying, I want to love. And as soon as you enter that realm, then you end up cleaning up stuff. It's called detriment, where you just make apologies and heartfelt apologies. And I find that when people give heartfelt apologies to each other, they transform. The listener transforms. And I believe that that's how the new humanity will spread throughout the world. And I am looking for people that want to, shall we say, fight that battle or be part of that team. I call them warrior poets. And one of this group has contacted me to find out. That's Catherine Parrish. And my wife and son are embarked on this journey right now. So I can't enroll people to do it. So I don't know where to end this, so I'll end it here, okay?
Okay, well, we got a few other hands up. We got Bronnie from Adelaide.
Yeah, Hello. I felt to read something from Lord Mayor, Baba, and it was from period, it was 1929 in Nasik. While in Nasik on December the 10th, Baba explained about the work of the perfect masters. Good and bad thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are all due to the working of the mind. If the mind vanishes, one realizes the higher self. Just as they are the givers of light, Sadgurus and, do you say kutubs? Kutubs?
Kutubs, yeah.
Kutubs are also the givers of thoughts. Not only can they predict certain actions, but they can tell what will happen years into the future, even before it is created in the mind of an individual. For they are one with the universal mind, which gives light, thoughts, and everything. Hence, they not only predict, but they predestine. Things actually become divine will according to the perfect master's will or wish. Someone inquired, if one commits sins of his own will, is one not really responsible for the consequences? And Baba replied, truly speaking, you are not responsible. Yet, for the sake of humility, you have to admit your responsibility and therefore experience both good and bad. Inevitably, in this manner, you are led to the perfection state.
You know, read those last couple of sentences, Ronnie.
Okay.
Because that's
The
very,
one-
what?
The one where someone says the question to Baba?
Yeah.
Someone inquired, if one commits sins of his own will, is one not really responsible for the consequences? Baba replied, truly speaking, you are not responsible. Yet, for the sake of humility, you have to admit your responsibility and therefore experience both good and bad. Inevitably, in this manner, you are led to the perfection state.
Yeah, I wish there was a something that Eric said once. I wish I could remember it, but he said you give all of the credit of love to Baba, and all of the selfishness you take upon yourself. That's the way you behave in the court or the darbar of the avatar.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he does everything, when there's selfishness, you admit your selfishness, or you admit your unkindness. I don't know if did anyone else hear that in Mandalay Hall? Huh.
Just one thing on that, just what that reading for me. I realized that by accepting responsibility for, say, for all the untoward things I did in my earlier life, it's kind of like it opened me up, like a shattering of myself, and opened me to Baba's compassion and to Baba, and to be able to feel at a certain point, for me to be able to realize that to be able to so-called blame Baba helped me to say it was Baba's will that I went through all that, helped me to stop obsessing or going over it and going into unnecessary regret. Somehow by realizing that Baba's responsible for it ultimately because he wanted me to experience this for whatever reason. And yet I need to see the dysfunction clearly so I don't do it again, and also so that I have compassion for others who I might have judged for doing the kind of things I did. So I was helped by that because of the humility of having to admit it, but ultimately it being Baba's responsibility because he wanted me to go through it. So that's all. Thank you.
Bronnie, that was very beautiful. I mean, really beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, Erich in the New Life, he used to say, whenever Bob would kind of criticize him or point out something, he'd say, the fault is mine. The fault is mine. And at one point, Bob said, if you say the fault is mine one more time, you're driving me crazy. But I mean, he just kind of, the fault is mine, you know. But it's a funny scene where Bob has just had enough of the fault is mine. But it is true. Okay, who's next, Jacima?
Marian.
Oh. Hi. Hi, it's Marion here, New York City. And thank you, Bronnie. That was really had a lot of clarity. And so I'm chiming in, not to tell anyone else to do, because this is so personal. Everybody has their own path. And I have, since I know that I can't just start off when I'm blaming me to say, Baba, this belongs to you. I may be in other areas of my life be able to say that because I have so much clarity and I've cleared a lot of my shadow side. But when I'm in blame, I haven't cleared that yet because I've learned I have about 7 bodies. I'm an energy being. I'm not solid. I have a group of bodies. I have a subtle body. I have an energy body. I have an emotional body. I have a physical body. I have these many bodies. And I've learned that I get highly emotional. If I want to blame, I try to keep it to myself so I didn't look bad. And then what has to happen, what I've learned in the emotion body, it never matures unless expressed, not dumped on anybody. I don't have to tell anybody, but I need some help. I've been trained in a lot of core energetics and other methods, but I tell Baba, I'm in this blame and I am now going to release what is there. So then I do my have a fit, allow a lot of blaming so I can release it out of my energy field and not be holding it in my subtle energy field. But I'm doing it with Baba. I'm there telling Baba. I am not saying I'm giving it to Baba yet, but first step of transformation for me is observation, not trying to be different. Then in that process, I feel like Baba is really smiling at me because of my own personality that wants to look good. I need to go to the other side of the coin of duality and allow out that mean, nasty Marion. And when I let out mean, nasty Marion with Baba, I feel like Baba's smiling at me like, yes, that's the gateway to true unitive state, is do both sides of the coin. My one side that is kind of submissive and the other side that's very aggressive. And when I can hold both and be with Baba on that, they come together into that oneness state. So I just want to say that it's like a map. It's like a roadmap. So that's me. So I have to really know that I need to release it and not. And so some things maybe I've done it a lot, I can say I give this to Baba. But things that come more from the shadow side, the unconscious, I need to go through a process of releasing it emotionally, and then it transforms.
Marion, would you say you're pretty good at not blaming others?
I think it's very subtle. What I've learned, things that used to be very blatant don't always go away. They become more subtle and I have to dig for them. It might be a twitch of my shoulder. It might be something where it's not just, oh, so-and-so did this and they're at fault and they're the reason this happened to me or whatever. That blatant one isn't there anymore. It's not. It's more on a subtle level of a little attitude or some shift in my energy field. And I kind of pick up on it. And it means I have to dig a little deeper and go a little bit more to my core and own up to it in a way that does not put me down. Putting me down is never going to help anything, but owning up, taking responsibility is different. So I might say, oh, I notice I'm blaming someone. It's very subtle and I'd like not to be there, but right now that's where I am. And that kind of owning up doesn't put me down, but it's a gateway to then a next step of releasing. and seeing where that leads. Then when the releasing, I always telling Baba, and I always work usually with one particular photograph that's at my bedside. And in my, so I may have to, because everybody doesn't have to do what I do, because my dominant personality is defense, is getting very emotional and not thinking through things. So this is very personal. Everybody's different. Somebody who's more of a thinker type maybe has to open up their emotions more. So anyway, so that's it. I think it gets a little more subtle.
Yeah, good. Let's see. I'm gonna take a look. Was that? I wanted to see if there are any questions here. Marta, did you have any of those questions you thought might be? I don't know if you have them there. One of the things that I thought.
Yeah, I have them, Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just run through them?
Yeah.
Just they're pretty short. Do you sometimes blame others, like have for the conditions you find yourself in? Do you think everything is being tempered by compassion, as Baba says? Is it something you take on faith, or do you sometimes know this experientially? Do you have any blocks or resistances to holding Baba accountable for what happens? Or are you inclined to hold others accountable? Have you found in retrospect certain experiences were really in the end compassionate and helpful in your understanding of love? Have you found that experiences of suffering in your life turned out to contribute to your feeling more whole over time? And what if there were no unpleasant or painful experiences? Would you grow and awaken? That's it.
Oh, there were a couple others.
What if winter with its destruction were eliminated from the seasons? Wouldn't it upset the balance of nature? Does acceptance of what is lead to wholeness? Do you sometimes look upon your relationship with Baba as a contractual agreement? I'll do this for you if you do that for me. Is being happy the goal? Do you sometimes think that God can be punitive, as some religions depict him? That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Can you speak to any of that?
Jeff, actually, Masha had his hand raised. Masha?
Well,
you're on mute.
Marcia,
I got it. Okay, I was looking at all these passages I marked when I've been reading the Blue Bus Tours, and this is not exactly on what you're talking about, but I kind of think it's relative. He said, Baba became so frustrated with the women one day that he asked, what's the sense in all you being here with me? Why do you stick around when you can't even follow for a few days my order, which I explained was crucial? Afterwards, Nadine leaned over and whispered something to Mani, which Mani did not catch. Baba gestured. What are you saying, Nadine? She replied, how nice it would be, Baba, if we never got angry. Nice, Baba asked. I don't want stones around me. If you never get angry, that doesn't help my work. But if you get angry and control it, that helps me at my work. Mani likened Baba's work to sweeping. A room may appear quite clean until someone takes a broom and disturbs the dust that has settled invisibly on the floor. The Westerners marveled at the intensity of their negative thoughts and feelings after coming to Baba, but it was his work to stir up their internal dust so he could sweep it away. Nor did the Easterners escape Baba's divine house cleaning. Gulme was already distraught that she had not been invited to live at Upper Mehrabad because of friction with Shirimai. And when Baba told her that she would not be joining him, when he shifted to Jalbapur, she felt like killing herself. Suffering is necessary when you are in the spiritual path. Baba lovingly explained. He reminded her of the unique role she played in his life, but it was bitter medicine. Her only consolations were the memory of having been invited to join her beloved spiritual son from time to time during the first tour, and the faint glimmer of hope that he might have a change of heart. Indeed, he did, and Gomez would be one of the passengers on the blue bus when it departed Mehrabad at the beginning of August. But anyway, it says, do you want me to continue, or is it? And then I skipped up to another passage, and he says, this is page 510. I've been keeping you all with me. You have not the slightest notion of what work I have been doing through you. Actions and activities done in the world have no meaning for me, just external worldly activity, nursing the wounded, charity for the poor, etc. But this life you lead is meaningful. For one thing, as you are with me, you are free of worldly actions of greed, lust, etc. that create attachment. And then he goes and says, why don't you go to the movies? Because you don't have contact with men. Don't touch, then he tells them, don't touch money or men. And who would not like to go to the pictures? But this outer thing would leave an impression on you, and you would be unknowingly affected by it. And then you learn to have self-control. Don't do what you like, but carry out my wish. But you should do it wholeheartedly, cheerfully, and sincerely. Otherwise, what's the good of it? So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, especially that first part. Let's go with Rainey here, because maybe she usually brings in Francis Brabazon too.
I have a ghazal that came to mind when I read.
Little louder.
Sorry, it's this funny old computer. Is that better?
Yeah.
A ghazal came to mind when I first read your thing, and then I couldn't find it, and I just suddenly found it. So I'll read it out.
So this is Francis Brabazon.
Francis Brabazon from Industai Singh, page ghazal 115. On page 115. Each ghazal number is a page number, and that is also the number of the ghazal.
Oh.
When one's beloved is truly so, there is no need to grovel and whine, to importune or plead. When one's beloved is truly so, there's no need to grovel and whine, to importune or plead. It'd be a shame to take one's hovel habits to love's palace, to make a display of one's meanness in that holy place. The good women for the good men, and God for those who would die. And neither the heaven nor the bliss can be won by a lie. Since fortune has smiled on one in the beloved's courtesies, one should walk upright as a man and not dig in dirt with one's knees. The sun has kissed the hills millions of times since one was a worm, and thousands of times one has crossed mountains and weathered sea storm and marched out against self to the brave music of the drum, and toiled to heap up a banquet for the day when the beloved would come. The way is to surrender to the beloved with perfect trust, to walk upright like a man to the exalted station of dust.
Beautiful.
And it came to mind because of Rosalie's favorite phrase, "No one is to blame," said Meher Baba. No one is to blame.
It's amazing, though, how difficult it is not to blame. I mean, emotionally, we're kind of wired that way unless we can get rewired through love, you know.
Well, I feel in this poem he's saying, don't bring that. Don't bring blame. Don't bring these weaknesses. we've done these billions of things. Why bring that to the palace door? Leave these things behind. We've been the sun. We've broken over mountains billions of times. We've done all these things. Why bring that or this or the other to the palace door?
Yeah, I think of Baba's father, who, you know, his partner swindled him out of the business entirely, and he would not go to court and get into the whole legal thing of of taking this guy on who swindled him. He didn't blame him at all. I don't know how he ever did that. I mean, Shireen, Baba's mother, was furious, you know, what this guy did, and Baba's father even said, tell him, I think he sent a message, you know, tell him that I forgive him, because basically I'm getting old, and I may not be able to do that before he dies. That was kind of the feeling. What an incredible thing. I mean, it's ruined their life. I mean, ruined them financially, and yet he did not blame him. That's another order of experience, you know. I wanted to see, let me ask you, do you people feel like there is a compassion behind, I mean, just assessing yourself, do you feel there is compassion behind all that happens? I mean, you know, Baba says there is, but anybody can kind of say how much they have. Okay, go, Tricia. Yeah.
Yes. In a word, yes. I feel like everything that I go through, and I do seem to go through something weekly, is part of my journey, part of my learning, part of my bringing me closer to Baba. And the same goes for everyone. And I feel more and more that you just got to let people be who they are, because everybody's on the same journey, whether they're with Baba or not. They're still on a journey. If I give that to them, I have to give it to myself as well.
Yeah, beautiful. There, in Listen Humanity, Baba said eventually you adopt the attitude of live and let live.
Yes.
Kind of what you're saying. Anyone else? I mean, I mean, as far as, do you, like Goer, do you feel overall that this whole thing is actually compassionate? I mean, you know, I mean, Baba says it is, but I mean, from your whole experience in this life.
Yes, because in the end, I think the awareness comes that through whatever you experience, if you're aware of why you're experiencing it, then you benefit definitely, and your life ongoing is benefited to a great degree, I think. So, yeah, absolutely. If you're aware of it, then whatever comes your way, whether it's negative, positive, whatever, you definitely can see beyond and know why it has occurred. And from that understanding, your life improves and your awareness becomes so much greater, and you benefit from it in the long run. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there is compassion, definitely.
Beautiful, yeah. Mm-hmm. I know Mani used to say to a depressed Westerner, don't forget, it all has a happy ending.
Yeah, that's right.
But, so in that sense, okay, Marta.
Yes. So I was thinking that Baba says he's God and he created everything and he alone exists. And then he tells us that everything he does is out of compassion and love for us, right?
Yeah.
So then I think, oh, then what's the issue? I mean, if Baba does everything out of love, then whatever happens is out of love. And even though I may or may not understand it, if I give it to Baba, I still don't have to worry about it. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of taking that, you're really pretty convinced that Baba's doing a loving job, even if you aren't specifically aware of of each particular thing.
Well, I wasn't before the pandemic, but since I've been coming to Zoom and hearing everybody and learning, and Baba keeps saying that everything he does is from love and compassion. So I really don't, it's like, okay, well, why complicate things? Yeah, I don't like something. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it's shitty. Yeah, whatever is my personality interpretation. But at the bottom of it all, I just said, okay, Baba, help me, take it. I don't get it, or I'm really crushed, or I don't think this is fair, but take this part of me that doesn't think it's fair. I really have gotten a lot of freedom and comfort from learning this in the last couple of years from all of you and the things that have come up and the things we've read and the things different people have said with insights, people that have been around, Baba for their whole lives and stuff. I don't know, it gives me great comfort, and I'm really I'm very grateful to Baba for that.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to get to you, Michael, but but let's go Bronny again, and then, oh, wait, yeah. Bronny, I thought Diane had her hand up, but that's a thumbs up, yeah. Yes, Bronny. Oh, we can't hear you, Bronny.
Thanks. Sometimes for me, the word faith becomes important when I think about what you're asking, that I can have faith that Baba, it's all a compassion, but I may not on some level feel that, like feel it as a knowing or I'll have my reactions, but somewhere there's a deep abiding faith that I may not understand, I may not even see it yet, but there is, like what you're Marty saying, that there is a happy ending. But the word faith helps me because it seems to hold what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and the faith kind of is supported by intuition that might be vague now, but eventually you'll know this intuitively. Is kind of what I imagine is going to happen to us.
And also in reaction to what's happening for others, when you hear the news and you know what's going on, and I can have the feeling of great sorrow for what's unfolding in some items, and yes, still maintain the faith that it's for that soul's highest good, or for that group of souls' highest good. And that when I remember, if I can remember, that what am I actually here for deeply? What are we here for? To awaken from the dream. Then I can understand that we're given sometimes like a nightmarish scenario in order to fuel that longing to want to awaken. So that helps me also to sort of hold what's happening in the world in all its chaos.
Yeah, like a nightmare that wakes you up, instead of a long series of pleasant dreams. Yeah, Michael.
Well, I suffered a lot in life, and but like I was comparing it as a voyage to Mirkwood, which was a forest in the trilogy. All overgrown trees and ugly places and very dark and no sunshine. And finally, when I was through Mirkwood, I could see the sun. And all I could think of was, it's all been worth it. Everything I went through brought me to where I am now. if I took one item out of it, it wouldn't be the same result. So
Yeah.
when I fell in love with my Layla, I find my mind wanting to go, not wanting, but going through the mechanics of what it did before, which was being critical and angry about stuff. And I just think, I have a choice now. And the choice is either I hear this song that was so beautiful that Odysseus had to tie himself to his mast to keep him diving into the ocean and drowning in his quest to hear this song. Or go back to being critical and in that darkness, the blame and the anger and the world with dark clouds and tumultuous emotions. And I'm thinking, I'm so blessed that I have a choice. And I would rather hear that song and throw myself into the ocean and find myself at night with my beloved next to me than go through that storm ever again. So I end up feeling very grateful.
Yeah. No, beautiful. I mean, that's a whole kind of movement a revolutionary movement in the heart, you know, from the swamp to the ocean. Let's see, who's next, Jaysima?
Meher Prasad.
Yes, yeah. I just had one comment to make. In the moment, usually, I do blame the other person, like maybe, a result of anger. Usually it turns out to be the case where I believe I am in the right and the other person in the wrong. And in the moment, I do blame, but after some introspection, usually towards, a few hours later, I realized that unless the other person behaved that way, whatever was lurking inside me wouldn't have come out at all. Usually these are some hidden desires, attachment, selfishness. So these kinds of things, they wouldn't come out unless the other person behaved in that manner. So usually I do have gratitude because of that. Without that, it would be impossible for those things that I had hidden attachment to, or any of those things that I would usually need to give to Baba. So
Yeah, beautifully said. I mean, that's a great attitude. So that yeah, you're benefiting from. Yeah, let's see. Who's next?
Diane or Terry.
Okay.
Hi. I think I'm going to have a hard time phrasing this question. Well, I don't want to affirm that. So Baba says not to blame, but then he says, blame me for everything. And we're supposed to say, okay, that's Baba. But the thing I don't understand about the comment about there is no plan, but I've heard that he went into isolation to do plans for the world. So I can sometimes be a black or white person, so I can wrap my brain around something. This one I'm having a hard time with, because so much of what I hear people say also is that, what is and what will be. And again, I might be ruining that quote, but if there's no plan, how does that one make sense either?
Yeah, that's an enigmatic thing that Baba said. And it would be hard to kind of parse that. I mean, in reality, there's no plan because there's no such thing as plans. I mean, he's basically he's going to the absolute. You know, the creation doesn't even exist. So, and it's in existence in creation that plans take place. But since it doesn't exist, then there's no plan. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Plan is to learn how to love.
Yeah, well, I mean, from the standpoint of creation, that's the plan. To become all loving. Yeah. But anyway, that's a pretty enigmatic. Let's see, what was another one of those questions, Marta? Oh, here's an interesting thing. Is happiness the goal? You know, I mean, what that's first line where Baba says, you say I've been honest in serving, doing my duty, and yet I'm not happy. Oh, good. Let's go for Patty here. Now you have that.
Yeah, Jai Baba all.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the goal is happiness. I'm going to just say that outright.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, it's wonderful to be happy. And Baba is pretty famous for don't worry, be happy. But I remember so many times Erich explaining that it was a joyous life, not a happy one. But what I'd like to offer is, from the perspective of each of the drop souls, we have I think a faith and a knowing that we're part of the bigger picture. We'll call it Baba, we'll call it what's happening. And in the moment of having awakened experiences, which I'll call being present to and accepting, not resisting what is, that might be the goal. Because you have a greater capacity to access the love, to access the compassion, to access the creativity, to access infinite possibilities. And for me, that's just faith now. Occasionally through my life with Baba, as I think most of us on this screen have had many much unfoldment to that process. I believe that we are part of the awakening is to awaken to the Baba within. Okay, so we keep saying we're giving it to Baba, but what we're doing is opening up to our present state of the wholeness. You asked, do we want to have wholeness? Do we get, have you found the experiences of suffering in your life turned out to contribute to your feeling more whole over time? That's definitely true for me. And I think Mayor Prasad said something about, in the moment he'll blame somebody. Well, I had an experience just the other day where I'm in my lane making a left-hand turn, and there's a car in the lane with me making the same left-hand turn, and we're on a, we're the ones that get to cross traffic with the center signal, but I had two lanes, and this one person doesn't know I'm in my lane, and then she's pushing me into oncoming traffic from the other side, And I could not believe what was coming out of my mouth. And I was yelling and screaming because either she was going to crush me or I was going to go head on. And that whole thing happened. And I mean, I had to stop in the middle of the traffic and not go anywhere because there was no choice. But this person in the vehicle, thinking she had my lane, just went out all over me about it. And I was just kind of like, thank you for not crushing me. But, you know, I carried it for several days actually, because it was very frightening and very frightening. And I asked, why did that happen? You know, really, and the why was what Mayor Prasad was saying, because I let out things that I had no idea were sitting, the anger, the whatever, what have you, and being up, having it surface was very important. A very important piece that needed to be felt, heard, experienced. You know, between Baba and I, we were in the car, the girls, you know, I had my windows up, but anyway, with all that said, I believe I become more whole and I become more authentic and true to not being a hypocrite, to be that, I'm going to call it loving, but to be in the love state, which is all encompassing. And, you know, I get glimpses, lots of things. All of us were on this path. Thank God we have each other. And the process of our becoming in more faith, having more trust in ourselves to bloom into who we really are is the path. And I can't blame Baba. I actually thank him. I think in the early years, yes, I do blame him. Looking back over my whole life, I have a much clearer picture of what happened and why, you know, the reasons, the compassion behind the trauma. And I'm sure a lot of us here know that. So within ourselves for our lives, it's hard not to see it when you have over 50 years in this lifetime with Baba, or, you know, many of us have had many more than that. So thank you for listening, you guys.
No,
yeah,
that's
Jay Baba.
very,
yeah.
You know, Mark Twain says sometimes profanity gives at least as much relief as prayer.
I might have to remember that one. I was so glad they weren't hearing it because it was just so much. Oh my gosh. Really.
It is funny.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
thank you.
I mean, there's the kind of flash of anger as opposed to a pattern of anger, or, you know,
Right.
kind of a,
yeah.
I think these flashes of anger, outbreaks of anger are pretty, they're like carbonated water, you know, fizzes and it's gone.
Exactly. Well, thank you.
Yeah, good.
We had Prakash raise his hand. Prakash.
Yeah. Jai Baba. A very short comment. I mean, it's about the blaming aspect of things. I think I was just going through a quote by Baba from the same book that Jeff picked this from, the quote that we all have somebody read. So this is about forgive and forget. So to me, I mean, I think either forgiving or forgetting, either of these will really help. If you can do both, that's even better. So because I was thinking about what happened in my life. I mean, like Meher Prasad said, and then Martha said, basically things happened in my life that seemed so nasty, and where I was caught up in a storm. But to me, they don't matter anymore right now. I mean, they're over. I mean, I've put in the past, you know, forgotten it. And I think it depends on each personality. I mean, everybody, basically, some people tend to forget things easily, some people don't. Luckily, it's my habit to just let things go, basically, forget. And I don't know if I forgave them for whatever that happened to me. At least at that time, I felt that they were to blame, whoso did that to me. But over the years, I just dropped it. It's over. It's gone. And I don't even think about it now. It comes to my mind. So this aspect of either forgiving or forgetting definitely has a very big role to play in avoiding blaming others.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Jai Baba.
Excellent. Ooh.
Rainy.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Thank you, Patricia, my old friend Patty. I have one thing to say. Do not forget the fluffy slipper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Tricia might know about the fluffy slipper. If I get really mad about something, I have a picture in a separate place, and I pick up the fluffy slipper and I throw the fluffy slipper at it. It's come to the point now with by the time the fluffy slipper even goes to leave the hand, it seems to have dissolved and vanished. And that's the beauty of expressing it on the spot and letting it go, you know.
Yeah, I think that, you know, they'll have to put that on your grave site, you know.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fluffy.
Lady left and right after she threw the fluffy slipper.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, all these, I mean, the blaming, I mean, anger is connected with blame, and they're all tied in. We got a couple more.
Yeah, we have Dinku. Dinku, Jai Baba.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone says. I used to be a very angry person, and you know, things that have happened in the past would keep affecting me. They keep coming up and up, and gradually getting to know more and more of what Baba has been saying has helped me a lot in coming to terms with things that have happened. And you know, what Prakash said about forgiving and forgetting, it's true. I've forgiven a lot of people because initially I used to put the blame on people that, you know, it's because of them this happened to me and that. But now I look back on it and what I ask myself, what role did I have to play in this? And why would I let that affect me? And that I catch myself if I'm doing that again. That I feel has helped me to come to terms with a lot of things, and it helps you to be more happy and more loving, you know, towards not only the situation but the people concerned.
Yeah. I mean, the looking back, retrospect really helps to see the compassion that is sewn into this whole process. Yeah. I agree. Oh.
Janet.
Yeah, so again, I joined late, another meeting I joined late, and so I may be repeating some things that other people have already said, but what I appreciate about this comment about blaming me is when I'm angry at myself and blaming myself, and you know, then it gives me an opportunity to say, you know, Baba is to blame for this situation. And that's a huge weight lifted for me. So
yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah. No, someone else said the same thing too. I mean,
Okay.
it's a great relief. You know, and Mani said this is one thing that all these kind of untoward things that happen to us are like, they're like speed bumps, you know, and when something untoward happens, you have an intensified remembrance of Baba. I mean, they're actually serving us. I mean, especially when you've been with Baba for a while, when things go wrong, you instantly think of Baba, whereas in the past, you know, you might have just cursed and yelled and everything and screamed at fate. But these are kind of, I don't know, I kind of look at them as things that are very disappointing to my heart. I have to then think very deeply of Baba, more deeply than I normally do when things are going along pleasantly. So every once in a while, like something will hit my psyche. That is way, I mean, it goes, I mean, an arrow goes much deeper into me, and then I have to process that whole thing at a much deeper level, and it's always valuable. I mean, even though if I don't like it, but it causes me to remember Baba and have to overcome things that I normally, regular life doesn't normally challenge me to do. So I find a benefit in, I don't invite untoward things, but they definitely find their way into my front yard. You think, oh, Janet, are you, oh no, I guess, let's see. Marta, was there any those other questions there that might be, oh, we got Rainey first, yeah.
Well, I wasn't first, but I suddenly thought about what Diane was saying about there's no plan. And of course, that's all very Zen. There's no plan in the planless plan. You could go and say the plan is plan and the plan has no plan and the plan is plan forever. But I remember once putting Guzzle 149 up on Facebook and some person having a conniption about couplet 5, I think it is, in 149, where where Francis talks about a rudderless ship. Now, when I sang and tuned this Guzzle, I kind of tuned this Guzzle because I absolutely love the image, being a sailor's daughter, of the rudderless ship. Because for many years with Baba, I just felt like I was just, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll try that. Yes, I mean, I was so codependent anyway. I was just trying everything and I was just careening around. Had I had a rudder, I would have learned half as much, you know? And just to have that image of how does it, yet there are many who still talk about, oh, the craft or the plan or the mathematics, whatever. Well, go shove them out to sea in a sailless and rudderless boat. Now, I absolutely love this couplet. It's 149. It's nearly the end of this whole group of guzzles. And that this person then objected. I had to really examine my self-torturing nature. That this person thought that was the worst thing he'd ever heard in his life. And I was so attached to it. And yeah, this ship with a rudder is a rudderless ship. It's the same type of thing, Diane. You can't win for losing and you can't lose for winning.
You know, Diane, one time when a new person, Balkal Churi was in the reading room in the library, and a new person very innocently said to Bao, is there a formula for following Baba? And Bao said, yes, but it's a formula-less formula. So it's, I mean, and that's, you can't formulate it, but somehow it gets done. Something gets done, but so that, I don't know if that kind of comes in a different angle on that.
We have Brani.
I just thought of this quote from Baba. I think it fits in a little bit with the rudder of the ship. Everything exists because it has a purpose. Love alone is devoid of all purpose, and a spark of divine love sets fire to all purposes. The goal of life is to arrive at purposelessness, which is the state of reality.
You got it.
You got it, Ronnie. What page was that and where?
Like Paula, I've got it on a card, and if I'd understood if I'd understood when I started copying quotes out that in the Bible world you really should be like, putting where you got it from, I would have had be able to tell you, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, where it is.
Source, Bronnie.
Pardon?
Sourceless source.
Yes. And I know for me, the relief at times of getting that somehow, that there's nothing I have to do. It's all just this great unfolding, whatever, angry, happy, sad, everything. But I mean, that's a very brief seeing at times, but it is such a relief that it's all just to be, just to be here. Anyway, thank you.
I don't know if Diane's going to be able to sleep tonight with all this, this formula-less, plan-less, unutterable, purposeless existence.
I'm queen of plans and issues. Everything has to have a space and a time. So this is really messing with her.
Yeah. It's
sleepless night.
Actually, I've found that it's good to be a little bit nebulous about life. It answers the question a little bit better than a definitive answer. You kind of keep it a little bit nebulous, and who you are, keep it a little bit nebulous. It's a little more expansive.
Or read Guzzle 10.
Yeah.
Since sleeplessness has befriended me. No, I'm not telling you the answer, Diane.
Oh.
Sleeplessness.
I thought you were going to read something.
Yeah, we thought you were going to read something.
You're going to read number 10?
Number 10. Wait on, then find it. Since sleeplessness have befriended me, I've begun to admire the stars, the patterned silver stitches in the blue coat my beloved wears. Oh, I'm going to read that.
Beautiful. Wow, read that. What a line. That's beautiful.
I knew it stuck in my head for a reason. Since sleeplessness has befriended me, I have begun to admire the stars. The patterned silver stitches in the blue coat my beloved wears.
Wow.
Oh, so beautiful, beautiful. Hey, so
and Trisha's going to paint it now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. There's the last couplet. Oh, it's a blessing. There you go. Sleeplessness is our portion. Oh, no, I'm not going to read it. Oh.
Well.
Lovely. God had to be made to be man to become beautiful beyond compare. Why then do we listen when our mirrors tell us we are fair?
Well, let's see. We're coming down the home stretch. Let's see if there's any. I'm going to take a look at this thing once again here.
Just for Bronnie here, I found where the quote is.
Oh.
It's from Everything and Nothing, and it's number 61. Well, it's in number 61. It's part of number 61.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, Baba in the discourses says if you meditate on Napoleon, you'll become like Napoleon. So, you know, so like we become whatever you want to be, that you become. If you want to be a person who has universal love and you meditate on that, you'll become a very loving person. You know, there's, rather than just kind of passively, continuing to be boring the rest of your life, So let's see. Rainey, have you got a song, and then maybe Mayor Prasad has a quote?
Well, I was thinking about, well, I was studying something. It's not really done, but it has a great couplet in it. And it does sort of go along with with tonight. And that couplet is, oh, yes, this couplet's fun. Although the first couplet says, awake and sing, all you that float on the ocean of illusion. The beloved is here, and in him there is no exclusion. Awake and sing, all you who float on the ocean of illusion. The beloved is here, and in him there is no exclusion. And he's being very beautiful all along, but then suddenly he launches into empty your skulls of their brains, wash them out clean, and have them ready as wine bowls. Empty your skulls of their brains, wash them out clean, and have them ready as wine bowls. Oh, empty your skulls of their brains, wash them out clean, and have them ready as wine bowls. Who knows?
Okay.
Beloveds, we may have our names inscribed on the wine shop's honor rolls. Who knows? The beloveds, we may have our names inscribed on the wine shop's honor bowls. Empty your skulls of their brains, wash them out clean, and have them ready as wine bowls. Who knows? The beloveds, we may have our names inscribed on the wine shop's honor rolls. Awake and sing, all you that float on the ocean of illusion. The beloved is here, the beloved is here, and in him there is no exclusion.
Oh. Okay, well.
You can just hang your brain up on a clothesline. Hang your brain up on a clothesline and let it dry out.
Pratap Ahir is going to share this on Tuesday. He's going to share this part. He's going to talk about the days at Guru Prasad. He spent thousands of hours there with Baba, and he's got a lot of beautiful stories. So I hope you can understand. I think I can follow his English, but I don't know if all of you. I mean, were you able to follow his English all right?
If we can follow Australian, we can follow anything, Jeff.
Naughty boy.
What's that? Anyway, he's gonna.
If we can follow.
So Ganesh, that's on. That's on Tuesday, right?
Yes,
or your
Tuesday.
Wednesday. Wednesday morning.
That's our Wednesday mornings. So that would be 6th.
Good. And so let's have Mayor Prasad read the final thing, and then we'll have a few moments of silence.
Okay. Baba says, no matter how harshly the opposing party treats you, always be calm. Always, however much you are found fault with, or are blamed, or have high words said to you, bear all with patience. This is real bravery and courage.
Hey, Baba. Hey, Baba. Thank you for all your contributions to some of these statements of Baba's.
Thank you, Jeff, for the questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. That was fun.
Anybody got any last small change? Pockets?
Yes.
Take all the
I
blame
hear
I
that.
put on you.
Hey, what's that?
I take back all the blame I put on you, okay?
Yeah, it's your fault. You know, here's one thing that I just happened to think that, because it came up yesterday, but this has nothing to do with what we talked about tonight. But one time, Darwin was in during the 3 Incredible Weeks. He was in the museum room, and Baba was, giving discourses. There were about 17 men there, and at one point, Baba said, let's just stop and you look at me for 5 minutes. So Darwin started looking at Baba, and Baba, looking at him, he began removing the veils, and he became more and more magnificent, splendorous, and eventually he was face to face with the ocean of divine love, and Baba's form wasn't even there. He said, you can actually see divine love. And then very gradually Baba reassembled, and there he was in front of him. So there you have the formless God and God in form right in front of your eyes. I mean, the form, Baba's form is the doorway to the infinite. That's what Darwin would say and Erich would say.
Is that how it was when you saw Baba at the cafe, Jeff?
Bob was so brilliant, like the light of 1,000 suns. I could only see the outer fringe of that brilliance. This was 3 days after Baba dropped his body. He came and sat in the chair next to me and 3 of us, appeared to 3 of us.
Oh.
And yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to read one thing. Before you go to bed, say, Baba, I entrust all that I did, thought, or spoke, good and bad, to you. When you get up, say, Baba, I now begin entrusting all thoughts, words, and deeds to you. Say this just twice each day for 5 minutes, but with all your heart in it. Do that and make me responsible for all you do or think. Then you are free, but you must do it honestly. This much will be more than sufficient to maintain the contact with me. So don't forget when you go to bed tonight.
A great many Baba people do that very thing.
Yes.
Where's that from?
It's from Baba, but it's in Rick Chapman's book, You and I. So this book has like really wonderful, like, love is the cleanser that wipes the mirror bright and enables you to behold the increasing clarity, the indivisible entity that permeates all life. So you just open it up to all these wonderful quotes. It's like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
I guess.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you.
Hey, Baba.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you,
guys.
Jeff.
Oh,
Thank
wait,
you,
just a
Jeff.
second.
Thank
We
you,
got to get,
everyone.
Nasreen has to, she's the bouncer of this tavern.
You almost forgotten me, Jeff.
Yes.
Please don't forget me.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Yep.
Hey, who's that?
Now we can go home.
We can go to sleep.
Good night.
Yep.
Good morning.
Hey, Baba.
Hey, Meher Baba.